it is true. If I make things work in a way that doesn't require minis, I usually will do.
I think that makes you a very pure games designer, like games capital G.
Yeah, well, I think, well, it means that sometimes because I'm aware that minis are the appropriate product for the game that requires counters to be placed onto a bare table, I then find rules to justify minis going onto those counters because it's that same feedback loop, but in a different direction. It's like
Yeah.
if what I want is a blank table with some markers on it.
Yeah, whereas I am absolutely happy with circles that happen to be decorated,
Yeah. Well,
oddly.
well, again, it's my mind always goes to it's like, well, these are the components I'm going to have that are
Hmm.
going to turn up because of the choices I've made. I'll try and find some way of using them, right? I mean, the more use I can get out of each component, the better. And if it's like, well, if I'm saying put down a tabletop and move some like bases around on that tabletop, someone's going to stick a mini onto that base. I may as well use that goddamn mini. They've paid for it. It has properties. It has existence within space. I can use that, you know. And it's like if I'm doing one thing for one reason, try and get as much juice out of everything that's in that. But if I'm doing something else for the other reason, the same in the other direction.
I think I do think that that misses something where you can make a direct line between the enjoyability of creating those miniatures and what you're offering in the game. And I don't know that I'm not saying that's more or less valuable. I just think that that is
I think that
also
the things I think sometimes you're romantic about the idea of painting and modeling miniatures, which is significant
no,
given.
but that romance is infectious. Like people care about that, even if they don't do it.
Well, yeah,
You know,
but
I think that's why the Doomed fails. I think the Doomed doesn't have that romance. It provides the tools, but it doesn't actually connect emotionally because the guy doesn't make miniatures. And
no,
like I care. Even if I'm bad at it, I care.
no,
I care because I can't.
no, I think you are right. I think it's very significant that like the doomed visibly doesn't connect with what it is like to make 36 monster miniatures, and it doesn't care what it's like.
Right. Whereas Gaslands, like, it cuts right to the beginnings of your like, wow, I've got a car. What do I do? Stick a gun in it. Fuck yes. Like, and it does it straight away, and everyone gets it.
No, and I totally get that. I suppose it's my process is like, okay, am I having minis? How am I going to communicate to people that care about minis
Hmm.
and engage with minis rather than I'm going to have minis. What else shall I put around them?
I know that is, but that is like a genuine disease where it's like I'll be like contorting things to like fit them in, even though
Yes,
it's like, well, this is obviously the bad choice. But
yeah, and that's
yeah, I mean, A Billion Suns is just like it's just writ large. Like
and the
this
thing
is
is,
just a clips, but you fucked up the delivery.
like, the thing is, it's like obviously I care about minis, and I enjoy minis, and I collect minis. It's
Hmm.
just that's part of a separate process from the game design, and I don't like to assume, I guess, that other people feel about minis the same way I feel about minis, and they don't inherently interest me as I need to be interested in all the things I'm designing a game about, and minis don't inherently interest me within game design, and so I want to make them interesting rather than go, well, I make minis, you'll make minis, the minis are going to turn up. That's how it is. Let's just accept it and move on with the rest of the process.
Hmm.
But I think
I mean I think maybe then what it is that mine is an aesthetic connection rather than a formal connection. Like I don't care about the miniatures in the context of the game. I care about the overall kind of aesthetic connection between like the reason I'm excited about Rotvolden is that I have a bunch of fantasy miniatures and I don't have the right way of expressing them on the table. And now I do because I have the game that allows me to array the exact sort of size and scale of miniatures that I want.
I
And so the game I think is structurally good, but the fact that it has miniatures is a result of wanting it as an aesthetic, not because they're the right choice for the mechanical design.
Sometimes I think it's almost like I don't like TV which is meant to be better because it's live. It's like it's always worse because it's live. I don't want it live. I want you to cherry pick the best bits out of it. Thank you very much. Why do I want to see, half an hour of nothing happening because it didn't happen to occur? And it's a bit of that kind of thing where it's like if I want a diorama, I'll just make a diorama. I'm not going to put a bunch of pieces into a game and hope that they poop a diorama out. It's like if I'm putting pieces into a game, the thing I want created is a gamic experience rather than a model-based aesthetic experience. Because the best model-based aesthetic experience, I think, would be making a diorama with your miniatures that has no game connected to it whatsoever, and that will look better and be better and
But see,
expressive.
I think therein lies the imperfection that I feed from, which is because it's transitory, it never has to live up to its dream. So it be like when Rufus and I play a game, there'll be a couple of moments where we'll feel a frisson of like some actual narrative or like some cool moment. Maybe we'll even get our camera out and take a photo of it, and the photo will never look any good because it won't match what we're actually feeling at that moment, which is like, yeah, the orcs just charged, or oh, there's a cool sniper shot, and this, look at that, it's got a sniper thing with the going on. And like in the moment we can share that aesthetic experience, which is sort of a shared hallucination. It doesn't even look good, but that doesn't matter because we were both there in the moment when it happened. I don't have to be skillful in creating a diorama because the diorama has gone, and then we packed up and we can imagine, we can retain the false memory of something wonderful.
Yeah, but I think the game is that shared, imagined, experienced moment, and it has almost nothing to do with the physical miniatures you've got on the tabletop. They
I just
are.
disagree. I just disagree
I mean,
because you can have lots of cardboard based games that don't provide that emotional connection. You can provide the same emotional connection in terms of the game being exciting, or there was a moment where I betrayed you, or you thought you were going to win and I fucked you. Like, that's great, and I love that, and I look for that in miniature games as I do in cardboard games, but they don't deliver the cinema.
yeah, I'm not saying you're right or wrong, and I'm not saying it's not that in capital letters. I'm saying for
Mm.
me, it's not that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I accept
you
that.
know it's that the moment and the experience and the diorama is almost entirely in your head, and
Mm.
and the miniatures are the things that told you what was happening to put into your head cinema when you go through your head cinema. But if anything, the miniatures often really kind of detract from that, because they they're charging into each other. Well, they won't actually charge into each other because his stick is out at the wrong height. It's just going to poke that other minute. Let's turn this unit sideways so they can actually touch each other because that's what's required for the game. Because the game necessitates things that makes the aesthetics. But in my head, what? Oh, they definitely, and the physical requirements of playing the game always shit on the aesthetics of it, but they can't ruin the aesthetics of what I'm imagining.
Yeah, exactly,
Always
exactly.
what I'm imagining is more important.
And and the immediacy, or the viscerality of the fact that they're almost good, even if they're just shit right at the last minute, they're almost good. Like, that's always going to be more visceral than having like a sweet magic card that fights another sweet magic card, where it's like, if these two cards were miniatures, I'd be totally loving it, but they're not. They're just magic cards. Like, whatever, I don't care.
There's a bit in the Terry Pratchett books where the patrician of Ankh Morpork talks about how he listens to music, and he listens to music by reading music because it's always worse when the note has gone through the flabby lips of a trumpeter full with spittle and then hit into a trumpet and then sprayed out the end of it. That just makes all of the music worse having it actually played.
That's Shannon's communication model again.
Well, yeah, just read the music and then it's completely perfect, rather than the untidiness that physically happens, kind of shits on everything. And I'm not, it's not a right or wrong, but it's again, and in reference to the conversation, it's about what you're actually aiming for that guides you possibly to one or another set of choices. And inherently, if what you are aiming for is the aesthetics of a bunch of miniatures on the tabletop, well, you're going to make a miniatures tabletop war game that's pretty much that's
at a certain point it just becomes a disease rather than a design choice.
Then
this has been After Dark with Rule of Carnage. We'll catch you soon. Bye bye.